Hi everyone, in the last video I talked about the use of the path of forgiveness in life through two small life examples. I also mentioned that the hardest part of the practice of forgiveness is perceiving that the world and life is just a dream. So, in this video, I'll use a forgiveness example to introduce you to a method that will make it easier to perceive the world as just a dream, called the dream substitution method. Hello everyone. Today I'm going to share not only a forgiveness case, but also a method around that case that will make forgiveness easier. First, a little background on this case. I live with my wife, daughter, and mother-in-law. My daughter is 11 years old and she is relatively fit and strong. Therefore, my wife sometimes deliberately asks my daughter to help her pound her legs and back. She does this because she wants to interact with her child in this way and show a bit of intimacy, and it also allows her to enjoy herself. It happened on a holiday. I was writing something in front of my computer that day, and then I heard my wife calling out to my daughter to come over and give her a whack on the leg. But at this time, my mother-in-law was unhappy because my mother-in-law dotes on my daughter, so she thought that this kind of behavior of my wife was just having fun with the child, and it would also strain the child. So, when my mother-in-law heard my wife calling for the child, she immediately gave my wife a scolding. And my wife was also confused after hearing a bad scolding, so she also returned a few words. In this way, a quarrel between them was staged in front of me. When I heard them arguing, as a bystander I instantly felt a sense of fear tinged with oppression. For although I would not have felt that they were disturbing me, I feared that their quarrel would get more and more out of hand. In this way, while I was experiencing the fear and not knowing what to do about it, the miracle worker in me was suddenly alerted to this fear. Then it occurred to me that a certain guilt in my subconscious was manifesting again because this thing had already put me in a fearful state of mind. So, after I figured this out, I began a silent practice of forgiveness in my mind. It was an old guilt in my subconscious that manifested their fight, so the responsibility for this manifestation lies with my internal guilt, not with them. Besides, this manifestation only happened in one of my dreams. This also includes the fact that they may quarrel more and more in a while, also in a dream. So there is no need for me to take their quarrels seriously or consider myself a victim of their quarrels. Simply because dreams don't exist and victims don't exist. Since I have not split from the Lord, I am willing to forgive in the Lord their quarrels and their images for not existing at all. In this way, I can forgive myself for dreaming of this event. Thus, there is only purity and innocence here, and the Holy Spirit is with us. And so, after defining the event as a manifestation of guilt and practicing forgiveness a few times with the truthful context that the world is just a dream, the fear that had been weighing on my mind slowly disappeared, and in its place there was a sense of relief and a faint sense of calm. At the same time, the inspiration of the Holy Spirit appeared directly in my heart, which was, at this moment, I don't have to do anything. Their fight over this little thing will always end. So I just have to keep forgiving. And so, after I followed the inspiration of the Holy Spirit and ignored their argument ended after about 10 seconds. And I also noticed a change in them that day after their argument ended. This happened in the morning, and then with my forgiveness that afternoon and evening, the three of them were able to communicate with each other in an extremely harmonious manner. As soon as I perceived this, I understood that it was the Holy Spirit working, and that it was the Holy Spirit correcting some of their negative thinking and developing it in a positive direction. I have talked about this in Chapter 8 of The Way to Miracles, so I won't go into too much detail about the Holy Spirit's ability to correct the thinking of others in this sharing. In my experience with the above forgiveness topic, I felt that the "I'm just living a dream" experience was the only one that was the most difficult to obtain. I think this is not only the hardest part for me, but also for every miracle worker. Therefore, in this case study, I would like to introduce to you a method that makes it easier for you to perceive that this world is just a dream. I call it the dream substitution method. The first thing I would do is to remember a few of the dreams I have had. If I am afraid of forgetting these dreams, then I will record them immediately after I have had them, and then I will use my mind to remember them over and over again until I have them memorized. Finally, when I come across the subject of forgiveness in reality, I will retrieve these dreams from my mind and marry them to reality. This is how the dream substitution method works. I will use this case study to explain the use of the dream substitution method in concrete terms, and I hope that this sharing will give you some inspiration. Firstly, describe a sleep dream I remember. One night I dreamt that I was in a restaurant, and in my dream I was checking out with the waiter, and I gave the waiter the cost of my meal, and the waiter gave me some change. I took the change and left the restaurant and went outside. At this point in the dream, I felt that I was on a business trip and that I had finished everything and had eaten my meal, so I was now going home. So I got into my car. At that point, the dream turned and I had driven onto a motorway and looked directly into the distance, and I knew that the dimly lit distance was my hometown. Then I turned my head to the left again and saw a grove of trees in the distance under a dim sky. That's when I woke up from my sleep. When I had this slumber, I memorized this slumber. And this sleep dream can be used for me to graft with any realistic forgiveness topic. To use the example in this sharing, when I was confronted with their argument, when I was in the process of practicing forgiveness, if I found it difficult to see the event and the scene as one of my dreams, then I would pull from my mind the sleep that I remembered of the drive home, and then I would think to myself, I didn't wake up from that drive home, I just drove all the way to my home in that dream before I encountered the incident where they were arguing. So this event is just a continuation of that dream, and this continuation is just the continuation of the me in the dream to the me who is seeing them arguing right now. This is the specific pattern of the dream substitution method. One of the advantages of dream substitution is that the night's sleep is meaningless and ready to cease to exist for all of us. So when we can substitute a dream into reality, that reality will not seem so real. It may then be easier for everyone to practice forgiveness in reality. Whether it is immediate forgiveness or delayed forgiveness, the perception that the world is just a dream is always the first element of forgiveness, or rather, it is only on this basis that we can say that we have actually practiced forgiveness. Lastly, I suggest that you memorize your dreams, especially those in which you do something indoors. Because conflicts in this world usually occur in the room, it is easiest to practice forgiveness by substituting indoor dreams for real indoor. This may sound like a tongue twister, but this is the reality of experience. Okay, that's all I'm going to share in today's example. For the must-read information I mentioned in the example, you can go to the Way to Miracles website at the bottom of the video and browse through it if you're interested. I've condensed the theory of truth and the very simple practice of cultivation into 5 videos so far. I hope these 5 videos have provided some inspiration. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.